It is 6 o'clock and it is time to get started on the ReThink with Veronica channel. And what we have today is all about the ownership mindset. Oh yeah, good stuff here. And that ownership mindset, it does start with you. Now, those of you that have not yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, ReThink with Veronica. I do the lives every Tuesday at 6 o'clock. Any of the additional things that I share will always be in the description there in the YouTube channel. It's a lot easier to get, but never fret. If you do want anything, don't feel hesitant or shy to drop a comment and I'll be sure to respond to you. Those of you that don't know me, hi, I'm Veronica Stewart. I'm a mindset and success coach for the mid-career professionals, those that want to take ownership of their future and they truly want to start thriving versus surviving. And so we're going to get to it and talking about, again, the ownership mindset. Now, the ownership mindset, really what this entails is taking ownership without feeling like you're doing it because it's required of you. It's really about you doing something. Now, we hear about this a lot in organizations of, having an ownership mindset and they want people to be accountable for their work. That's been around for a while. Where I like to focus a lot is really about you as the individual, because at the end of the day, it's about what you should be doing, what's good for you, which in turn could be good for what you're needing to do for a company, what you're needing to do for others, etc., etc. And this boils down to a very similar thing that I always share with you, and that is let me get my visual up here real quick. And it's not showing the visual I want. Hold on, folks. You got to love technology when it doesn't give you what you truly, truly, truly need to show someone here. Hold on one second here. All right. Here's the lovely visual. Empowerment. Now, I've shared this many times and I always will share this. This is a constant theme, especially when it comes to ownership. And it's always about you being at cause for your own results. Regardless if it's for a company or what might have you, it still is about you and owning what you do because you're at cause for your actions. You always are. And there really isn't any different when it comes to that. Now, I'm going to give you some examples. And I'll share that again one more time here are some, I printed this out because I thought it would be fun to see. And here is some examples on what someone has ownership mindset or an attitude. You got to love that, right? Now, it's they respect other people and their property. They take care of their own property. They appreciate other people's initiatives and good work ethics. Now, any of you that come across these that I'm sharing, you have some opinions on it, drop me a comment. I'd love to hear. And they look for ways to stay focused and improve their productivity. They see personal, professional, and social problems as issues they can solve. Now, that's an interesting one. Can you really solve all social problems? I'm going to question that one. They don't wait for someone to come solve their problem. They look for solutions themselves. They follow through with what they start. They don't leave a project for someone else to finish. They invest in increasing their own value by learning the skill sets they want and need. They become standout candidate for any job or position. Now, that one might be important for some of you that are in the job hunting right now. They are teachable. They look for ways to be producers instead of just consumers. They can be a team player as well as work on their own. They take responsibility for themselves and their actions. They look for opportunities to develop their people skills. They're great communicators. They are critical thinkers and problem solvers. They add value to what they do instead of just doing enough to get by. Now I'm going to say that one more time. They add enough value instead of doing enough to get by. They focus on solutions. They know that taking responsibility can give them a sense of peace. They think finding value or finding fault is looking backward, and taking responsibility is moving forward. Now, I like that one. And they understand that owning a problem and taking action, they can help others. Now, I've covered a lot about the 5 skill sets that the job market is looking for. A lot of companies are needing today to take them into unforeseen challenges of 2021 and beyond into the future. A lot of these things that I mentioned here in the ownership mindset actually covers those particular skill sets and mindset that is needed where companies look for. But I'm going to say even better is when you're thinking about your own personal transformation and becoming what I call a thriver and knowing your personal market value, right? And personal market value is knowing that you are able to bring value to the market. You're relevant to your company. You're relevant to the market that's out there today. Those are the people that feel really confident that if they were to lose their job, they know it's a matter of time that they're going to get one. That's a thriver. An ownership mindset based on some of those things that I just described encompasses what thrivers are today and what we need for actually the future. Now, any of those that I've read that some of you find that are probably the most valuable, I know I ran through them quite quickly. But put it in the comments. Even if you're watching the replay, I'd love to know your thoughts on some of these things that I'm sharing so far when it comes to ownership mindset. Now, this is a huge one because when I talk about the why and why this is so important, it always goes back to relevancy. We all want to be relevant. This could be relevant on a personal level, relevant professionally as well. To me, I really don't see any difference because if you're relevant professionally and not relevant at home, that's not a really holistic aspect in your life and something's broken in truth, where you can't tell me the things that are not making you relevant in your private life doesn't spill over into your professional life. Eventually, it's got to give. You are the same person that actually goes to work and you are the same person at home. And I shared a couple of times before that we have billions of bits of information that comes to us at a given point. We have about 5 to 7 chunks of information that we can only hold in our brains at a given moment. So that's a lot of competition there. So think about what I just said about personal and professional when it comes to relevancy and creating that resiliency so you are able to get to all those types of challenges that come your way that you can own. And this is why 5 to 7 chunks, something's not going to make the cut. So if your head's filled up with a lot of personal, I'm going to call it personal shit, right? We all have it. And you go to work and you wonder why it's so hard for you to focus and concentrate or remember anything. We're only human. So this is why it's so important that you do give your space to be able to do the things at work or things at home, right? How many times have you done something and say, for example, I'm holding on to my cell phone and you're like, where's my cell phone? Where's my cell phone? Maybe in your back pocket, it's in your hand and you don't even remember that it was with you. Well, that's what I mean by those 5 to 7 chunks is because that bit of information wasn't there at the time, just even remember where your cell phone was. Simple little things like that, right? A lot of us misplace our keys. They could even be in our hands or pockets. It's strange how that works, right? Now, getting back to ownership mindset. This is all what it's about, is taking ownership. Now is the time to start really thinking about what that means for you. Don't leave it up to companies. If a company is wanting to be more in a thriving mode, which most of them want to do in this year and in the beyond, right, for the future, they're trying to get their employees to have more ownership, to be empowered, right? Those are like buzzwords that you hear about all the time. Well, don't wait for them to help you through that or to provide any training or personal development. Because what if you have another reorg, or what if a particular situation happens and then you're left to have to figure out how to thrive on your own? So now is always a good time, when you are comfortable, to get uncomfortable and start shifting and start changing and really start figuring out how to truly thrive. Because when the day comes and you do have circumstances, you're able to handle it better. This is a great exercise, both personally and professionally. Again, I don't see any different, because it's your whole you. And if you can do it in both situations, that's going to make life a lot easier for you in the end. We're always going to have things that come our way. That's just the way it works. Those of you might have it a little bit easier than others. Hey, I always say, the ones that are get a lot more practice are probably going to be a lot more resilient. So it's not necessarily a bad thing on that. Now, one of the things that I wanted to share with all of you is some exciting things that are happening with me lately. I have created my Thrive for Excellent Facebook group. Good things are starting to come as I build out my Thrive for Excellent online coaching program. It's going to be coming soon, which this is some great stuff, which is going to work through a lot of these things and help create our future thrivers. A lot of you that are in mid-career today and you are in your comfort zone, it is a great time to start thinking about doing that this year. So I created a community. So I will have a lot of live master classes inside those. I will have 5-day challenges, and I'm going to start building, which is going to be exclusive in this private group. And I will only hold them there. So go over to in Facebook and join that private group, and we'll get started as soon as we start building. And this is going to be a community for anyone to join. Just if you're not, mid-career and that's not your focus, still, if you find value, come. It's a private group, but it's really for people that just want to start thriving in the future and learning some really great mindset and skill sets that will get them there. So that's one of the good things to share with you of what's happening. Now, I'm going to share this visual again because this is important, and this is a direct correlation to ownership mindset. And I probably will say this 10 times over because this is so important. And it goes with ownership and empowerment are almost like of the same. Because when you are empowered, you are taking ownership and you're taking accountability for your actions, which in turn, you are at cause for your results. And so that is, you are at cause on how you react to things that come your way. You're at cause of taking ownership to your future. Now, who's going to take the better care of yourself, right? It's only going to be you. You are always going to look out for you. And you're no good to anyone else until you can take care of yourself and be whole. So those of you that have children, those of you that have loved ones that you're taking care of, It's not what I'm saying is a selfish thing. This is a practical thing. You're not able to fully give yourself to them if you're half-ass already. I know that's probably hard, what I just said, but it's the truth. And I'm not perfect. I'm far from perfect. I work on it all the time, trying to be whole for everyone else around me. And so think about a couple of times, and this is a great exercise, is to start thinking about how you can take ownership. And all these little events, all these little actions and attitudes that I shared, right? And it might be how you take pride in the things that you own. Are you taking care of them? Are you one that doesn't necessarily take care of the things and you kind of let them go to waste? And you know, I always had I remember one of my history teachers. And so those of you that might be watching on Facebook, and we all went to the same high school, you know who I'm talking about. And our history high school teacher, he actually taught American history. I'm not going to say who, you guys can guess, have fun with it. And he always talked about interview and looking at, and at that time, I think he was always talking about men's shoes. So I think that was in those times of predominant. I'm just going to leave it at that. But I say this also with women's shoes. When you look at the top of their shoe of how well they take care of it, he didn't care about the sole because that is where it gets worn. It's did the person actually take the time to shine their shoes? So back then, you know, you shined your shoes, you scuffed them. I remember I used to help my dad with his shoes, his military shoes, and he would have that black polish and he would shine them. I do that with my boots. Actually, I have the polish. I don't get to wear my boots as much, but the leather boots, that's one example, ladies, or your heels, especially the closed toe ones. Or even my husband today, he, you know, has a lot of dress shoes and he shines them. My point is, you take care of them. That's ownership. That one little thing. Now, another thing where you can start taking ownership is your skill sets. It is never too late. You're never too old. It's not a money thing always. There are many things. You can either go to the library and rent a book that's free. The internet nowadays, gosh, I mean, all of you that didn't even grow up with the internet like I did, we had to go to the library to read books. Remember the microfiche, and you would look at the news and such. So we have it a lot easier when it comes to learning and skill sets. Now, mind you, when you do go on the internet, not everything is 100% legit. So make sure that you are checking your information out there. That's probably a scary thing. I would say even when they make books today, sometimes they're taking out a lot of information. But anyways, that's a whole other subject on its own. Now, this is not going to be a full 30 minutes today. I really wanted to just hone in on and getting people to start thinking about owning. I always say this is the year to thrive. This is the year to start calling yourself a thriver and learning what that starts to mean to you, because it's unique to everyone. There are things that could help you in the way that you think, and there are skill sets that are going to help you reach some of those goals that you have. And you might say, well, you know what? I don't really have a lot of goals. I'm comfortable. Well, I'm going to challenge you. Be mindful how comfortable you are. I think something that we have learned in 2020 is what we believe is true and what is constant is not necessarily the way it works. Change is happening so rapidly now. And a lot of things that we probably couldn't even fathom in our lifetime. So think about even in the last 10 years, how much change has happened, and we probably never even thought it would be in our lifetime already. So when I keep saying don't get comfortable with where you are, I'm only saying this out of love. It's the best thing that you can gift yourself is by taking care of yourself. Now, I do have a free gift. Yes, I got freebies here. And this is a great way for you to get started. It's a free, you can go here and download. I'm going to put this in the comments. I'll have that in the YouTube description. I will also drop it in my Facebook feed that is having our, so that some of you can get a hold of this, because this is a great thing where it will help you create awareness on what I call the thrive, because my whole theme about thrive for excellence and becoming thrivers, get that, kind of like that word, is your limiting belief tracker guide. And so think about those words like my self-talk, all of these things that I might be thinking. So here is another share. I will share 1 second here, if it's going to play nice with me. Hold on here, folks. Seriously, I do try to get a lot more organized in this, but it doesn't always happen. All right. Now, here is the guide of what it looks like. So if you go click on that, it's going to take you to this page where you can see those are the guides back there that I put in. And you just fill that out. You'll get the download. You can actually download it. Some of the pages, what you want to do is make extra copies. You can even turn it into a digital workbook, but you can create a workbook out of this. And this will allow you to start thinking about identifying what are those thoughts and things that are holding you back. A lot of times when I'm working with people, that is one of their biggest challenges. So when we talk about an ownership mindset, sometimes there are things that what I would call a limiting belief that hold us back from doing the things that we truly want to own. And so this guide is great. It's free gift. I created it of the many things that I offer in the program that's coming up. But this is a little taste of some of those things where you can start logging. Because one of the things that I find very challenging for a lot of people is when something happens for them to identify truly the emotion. A lot of times they're using adjectives and they're not really sure what that emotion is that's causing it, or what those particular, what we call cognitive distortions, right? Those are the beliefs that you are having. And so this exercise is going to give you the practice that you need in order to do that. So I said enough, but go ahead and check that out if you are interested in that guide, fresh off the press for that. I'm really excited because I know this is going to help a lot of people. Now, those of you that are aware, I do have a live show that I have tomorrow at 10 a.m. It's on my Facebook personal page as well. It's on the Game Changing Work YouTube channel. Let me see if I can find that here. And that is also on YouTube every Wednesday at 10 a.m. And so we're going to be talking about personal transformation versus organizational transformation, Roxanne and I, which we always get hot topics around this. So definitely join us. And if not, go to the YouTube channel and catch our replays, because we are coming up with some really fun hot topics lately. And again, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. That's going to allow you to know when these lives are coming up. And again, if you want to be part of a lot of my free trainings, live masterclasses, or some of those challenge events that I'm going to have, they're going to be in a private Facebook. I'm not going to have it live here. So that's really starting to get the people that are truly wanting to focus on thriving into our own special community that I'm creating. Now, I'll leave you with you guys. So maybe I am close to 30 minutes tonight, but oh well. Ownership is not just for corporations. Ownership is for you. It really starts with you, because you're going to value it far much more in turn the companies then get the value. But I always say, do it for yourself. You might have a manager, you might have a company that's talking about, accountability or being empowered. Well, most people will not put any skin in the game if they don't think the company is giving them the opportunity or really the means to want to do it, right? You have to want to own things at work. And sometimes you might not necessarily believe in the company that you're in. And so this is always a great time for everyone to start rethinking and start owning your future and create that future and design it now while you might be comfortable in the job that you have, and you start having some more choices. Because at the end of the day, you want to stay relevant if you like your job, but we're always expendable. If 2020 hasn't taught us anything, I think that's it. So I'll leave you guys with that thought. Those of you that are ready to start thinking about how you want to start thriving, I do have discovery calls for coaching sessions. These are free discovery calls. I have them about for 45 minutes to come up with your strategy, those of you that might be trying to work things out. So check my calendar if you want to book a free 45-minute strategy session. It's always there and offering for all of you. So I will see you guys next week. I haven't necessarily thought about my topic for next week. I kind of leave you guys a little guessing here. So tune in to next week at 6 p.m. I'm going to start using that schedule now, but it always still is on Tuesdays. And if you're daring, come over to the Game Changing Work channel at 10 a.m. Eastern time tomorrow, or check out the replay as we dive into more about personal transformation and getting real of which one is better, personal or organizational. What do you guys think? I'll see you guys later.